champions.
During their playing days, they broke curses.
Goosebumps, I have them right now. I got just talking about it.
And barriers.
And Pumpsie Green switch hitting second baseman.
There was more pressure on me that night than I don't know what.
Now they spend their time on the water.
Or aboard the stand-up double.
On the course.
Oh, baby. Birdie.
At a brewery.
I like to be right here because I like the heart of the bar.
Or just enjoying the view.
That's the Bay Bridge, going to San Francisco.
They took very different paths to Fenway, and they lived different lives in retirement. The honorees from the 2018 Red Sox Hall of Fame class reflect on their time in Boston and share what they're up to now on this special edition of the Red Sox Report.
See how this goes.
On most winter days, this is where you'll find Derek Lowe.
Oh, baby. Birdie.
The club at Renaissance, just down the main drag from JetBlue Park, has been Derek's home for a decade.
It's a smaller community. You know, we don't have a ton of members, but great people and a lot of retired people here too. So as you can tell by my tan or redness, we golf quite a bit down here. Par. Yes.
The golf course in Southwest Florida is a long way from the Colorado Springs Hotel, where a 1997 phone call changed the lives of Derek and his Tacoma Rainiers teammate, Jason Varitek.
There's a lot of trade swirls talk. A lot of it was based around Jason, and Dave Myers, their manager, pulls Jason and I in the locker room and in the office and said, "Hey, you guys have been traded to Boston. Go back to the hotel. You know, Dan DeCat's going to call you." Fast forward, he calls, and then Jason gets on the phone first, and I can kind of see like a puzzled look on his face, and then gives me the phone, and first thing Dan says to me, congratulations on the Red Sox, blah, blah, blah. I hear you're a big, tall left-hander. Now, here you are, a kid just got traded in an organization, and so I don't know what to say. I go along with it. I'm like, yeah, I'm left-handed, throw a sinker. Get off the phone. I'm like, Jason, how did your conversation? He goes, well, he thinks I'm an overweight, fat catcher that can't hit. And I'm like, well, he thinks I'm a left-handed pitcher. This ought to go well.
Initially, it didn't. Derek began the 1998 season with no wins and 7 losses.
And he sends that high and deep to right. Bragg at the wall, looking up, and it is gone.
We're in Miami, and Jimmy Williams pulls me in the office, and I'm like, this is it. Like, I'm getting released. Thank goodness they said, hey, we're just going to put you in the bullpen. And, I couldn't have been happier.
The run of personal and team success began soon after. In 2000, he earned his first All-Star Game nod and led the American League with 42 saves.
0-2 pitch. He struck him out.
2 years later, he started the All-Star Game en route to a 21-win season, which included a no-hitter at Fenway Park.
Bounced right to Sanchez. On the first, a no-hitter for Derek Lowe.
The offseason of 2001 was my most motivating, because I said, hey, I've been in the league long enough to where I need to prove myself. If I can't prove myself in 2002, I'm never going to be a starter. And again, the month of April was, a dream start for me.
Derek remained in the rotation as the 2004 season began, with team expectations at their highest. But while the Red Sox won 98 games, Derek went just 14-12 with an ERA over 5.
Tejada hits it deep to left, and the Orioles will have a lead when it comes down.
As the postseason began, Derek was back in the bullpen and not happy about it.
So I went back to my old faithful Varitek, and I called him. I said, hey, can you come up to my room? Like, I'm not in the rotation. I don't want to be here. I'm pouting the whole 9 yards. He said, hey, listen, you never know. You can't do anything if you go home and pout. Like, you have to be able to just, okay, this is your role. You never know what's going to happen.
No one knew what was going to happen. In the midst of the greatest comeback in baseball history, the Red Sox turned to Derek to start Game 7 of the 2004 ALCS.
Derek Lowe has been sensational. Absolutely fantastic.
He got the ball again to start World Series Game 4 as the Red Sox sat on the verge of ending an 86-year curse.
Renteria stealing as Mabry strikes out, and the inning is over.
The 04 season was just an incredible year from so many aspects. We had a lot of free agents. So we knew, like, hey, this is probably going to be our last hurrah together. And so there was kind of a little added pressure there because this was probably going to be my last year in Boston. You kind of sensed it. So then just to have it end the way it did was just magical.
Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions.
It was just one of those feelings that you felt such gratification and accomplishment.
Derek retired from the big leagues in 2013. He'll show up occasionally down the street from his house at JetBlue Park, but has no plans on making it a full-time gig.
I made a choice when I got out of the game. I said, do I want to coach? Is this something that, and I really decided that against it because you know, I was very fortunate to play for some time and then to think about getting back into the minor league realm and start from the bottom up. It wasn't a choice that I wanted to do.
So instead, Derek enjoys his post-playing days like so many other Florida retirees.
A lot of golf. We have a lot of, you know, after golf libations or whatever you want to call them. Socialize.
On a sunny Monday afternoon in Los Gatos, California, Kevin Youkilis stands behind the bar as the majority owner of Loma Brewing Company.
I like to be right here because I like the heart of the bar where people are sitting here watching games. I can wash all the glassware that's coming in. I love getting my hands dirty in that. And then just step right behind and help out the bartenders by filling beers.
Of the 10 Loma beers on tap, one will sound familiar to Red Sox Nation, the Greek god of hops.
That was my idea. I learned in this business, marketing plays a good role in building your business up a little bit.
15 years before Kevin started brewing the double IPA, he got the nickname the Greek god of walks.
My agent called me and told me about this book that came out and how Billy Beane and came up with this Greek god of walks. And after my first half season is when I had that 70 walks or something in a short season, and the on-base percentage was close to Barry Bonds and all that.
The book was Moneyball, and Billy Beane was the general manager of the Oakland A's, a team that plays less than 50 miles from Kevin's home in Los Gatos. Kevin didn't move to Northern California until his career was winding down, but he would have landed in Oakland as a minor leaguer if Billy Beane had accepted the job as Red Sox general manager in November 2002. Kevin was going to be the compensation.
Yeah, that was wild. To think you get traded for a general manager, usually you're getting traded in some package deal, especially with Boston at the time. I mean, minor leagues weren't even that big of a deal. It was all about just you know, signing free agents as much as possible, and who cares about these young bucks down below.
When Beane turned down the Red Sox job, Kevin remained in the organization and made his big league debut during the unforgettable 2004 season.
To left field, deep, far back, and it is gone. The first career home run in the major leagues for Kevin Youkilis in his second big league at bat gives the Red Sox a 3-0 lead.
Well, it changed my life forever. That was my rookie year. I fulfilled a dream since I was a young kid playing in Cincinnati in the backyard and trying to be a Cincinnati Red and win a World Series. And I'll never forget this. When we got off that plane, and I'll never forget that when we were on the bus and headed, and people on the highway all stopped, and over the bridge they stopped, and the construction workers came out of the building and they're all going nuts. And the goosebumps, I have them right now. I got just talking about it, but it was awesome just to see that.
By 2006, Kevin was an everyday player in Boston.
Youkilis to deep left. Monroe looking up, and it is gone. 2-run shot for Kevin Youkilis.
He was a key part of the 2007 World Series team and twice finished in the top 10 of MVP voting.
Gardner lines it to first base, and a nice play by Youkilis sprawling in the air.
At Fenway, fans always knew when he was coming to the plate.
The walk-up song was awesome, the Bismarcky, You Got What I Need. So it was kind of like getting the fans into it, because some people, I think, want to go up there and they're calm. I just wanted the adrenaline rush the whole time.
Fenway's faithful remained on Kevin's side right through his last Red Sox at-bat in 2012.
Crowd recognizing that this could be the last day they see you.
come up to bat, and all of a sudden I'm like taking a couple practice swings, and the fans, like, I just felt this energy behind me, and they start standing up and cheering like louder than they ever have. Like, they just started clapping and clapping and clapping, and I was like, oh my God. And I literally felt like I was 500 pounds. Like the weight and the energy of the fans, like my heart was like just crushed, and I literally like, I almost felt paralyzed getting back in the box. I was like, my body was shaking because it meant so much to me that they really were just acknowledging how much they love me and care about me.
In the air to right center field, and over. They both point at each other. Nobody's going to get it. I got it, you take it, nobody gets it. Around from first comes Gonzalez. He will score to third. Goes Youkilis, safe. It is ruled a triple as Youkilis is going to be pinch run for as he comes off.
I think the people of Boston connected with me because I joke around that I was never blue collar in the sense of the way I grew up. I grew up in a middle class family, but I had a blue collar work ethic, and I played the game like it was, every single day was my last.
And now, Kevin's work ethic has him busy in baseball retirement.
I basically just said, you know what, I was like, this business is booming, the craft beer world's booming, it's growing at an incredible rate. I want to get in on it, I want to figure this out. And we went around in different spots and trying to figure it out, and luckily this place that we're in right now was the Los Gatos Brewing Company, and it just happened to come up for sale. And I was like, gotta do this. I live literally a mile, less than like 0.8 miles from here. I was like, let's do this, you know, I can own it and be here to operate and help out. Little did I know all the things that go into owning a restaurant, but after almost 2 years now in August, I'm starting to understand a little bit more. So it's pretty cool, all the little intricate things. You know, trying to learn all the hops is kind of a fun thing. And for me personally, that's why you hire some of the best people, because this is way above my science high school level education.
And remember, when you order a Greek god of hops from the Greek god of walks, be as patient with the beer as Kevin Youkilis was at the plate.
The double IPA, we joke around, is always a little farther down because it's 9% alcohol. And if we were selling a lot of those, we'd probably see a lot of people stumbling out of here. So.
We're aboard the stand-up double.
The boat's name is a fitting one. Its owner, Mike Lowell, doubled 394 times in his career. 153 of those coming during a memorable 5-year run in Boston. And its dock is right outside a new home Mike, his wife, and his 2 kids recently moved into.
It was a big move for us because we were at our other house for about 13, 14 years, had a lot of good memories. But for me, being out on the water is very soothing, you know, and I like being there. It's something that's, I don't know, therapy, I guess. And so I proposed it to my wife saying, hey, maybe we should look, and she was on board for the most part, and we got the boat right in the back and we could take it out whenever we wanted. Late October 14 is when we broke ground, and I moved in July of 16.
While the home is new, the area is not. Mike has called Miami home for almost his whole life.
I moved, I think, when I was about 3 or 4. You know, my dad was in the military for 2 years in the Army. I guess his first job that he was able to work at was here in North Miami. So it's all I know from a school standpoint. You know, I did preschool, elementary, high school, and college all in Miami. So I feel like I'm very attached to this area, and you know, I keep comparing it to all the places I've been, and it just feels like home.
South Florida is also where Mike made a name for himself as a professional ball player. He played 7 years for the Marlins and even won a World Series in 2003 before a trade sent him to Boston. The Red Sox acquired Mike in a deal that included Josh Beckett. While many considered Mike's inclusion as a salary dump, he was motivated to succeed in Boston for other reasons.
I think what fueled me was after 05, you know, I'm going into my age 31 season. You know, I didn't feel like my career was over. My contract was backloaded at the time, and Josh is a frontline starter who really wasn't making a lot of money yet. So from a GM standpoint, if I'm a team like the Red Sox that has the financial capability to have, you can swallow a bigger contract than maybe you'd want to get a frontline guy. So my ego wasn't hurt by that.
Now Lowell drives one to deep left.
During Mike's first season with the Red Sox, he hit .284 with 20 homers and 80 RBI. It was just a sneak peek of what would happen a year later.
For me personally, I got off to a good start, but the most satisfying thing of that regular season was I had a real strong second half. I didn't want to be that, hey, you had a great 3 months and then you really tailed off. And I felt like that year I came through a lot more than I ever did in any other year of my career.
But Lowell drives in yet another run. That's 120 now in the season.
He remained hot throughout October.
When you're in a city like Boston, and I think the expectations are high. It's almost World Series or bust.
Game over, series over, and the Red Sox are world champs again.
When you can reach almost exceedingly high expectations, that's a pretty satisfying thing. And I tell people, when you're playing wiffle ball as a kid, I don't think you ever say, hey, you win the World Series and I'm the World Series MVP. That's like, it's not even in the conversation. I mean, the parade was a surreal moment for me. You get some people in the street saying MVP, MVP, and then a real touching moment for me was in that duck boat in front of me was our captain, Jason Varitek, and he writes a handwritten sign and he puts it up and it says, re-sign Lowe. And I was like, wow, that really hit me. I was like, yeah, I love that the fans love me, but when your teammates and your captain wants you back, you really feel like you did something right.
Mike remained in Boston for 3 more seasons and then played his final game at the end of 2010.
From a skill level, I felt like I still could play. I felt like my hip was a major factor in derailing me, and with how well I could move around, how well I could hit for power. So that reality, when that sets in, it kind of hurts because I was playing ball since I was 5, and I just told Tito, I said, Tito, if I get a hit, I want to get a hit on my last at-bat. So sure enough, I get a hit my first at-bat, and I was like, I can't walk out of a game after the first inning. So I was just like, man, I just want to get one more hit.
Fly ball, hard hit into left. This ball is off the top of the green monster, and that will be a long single.
I think it was fitting that my last hit was a ball off the monster in left field, and I just felt like it was just a great way to end it.
Mike is still involved in the game. He's been an analyst on MLB Network for several years now. When not on TV, he stays busy like many other dads his age.
Nowadays, well, I'm a morning person, so I wake up, help the kids get breakfast and hurry them along because, hey, you're going to be late. Drive them to school. I enjoy fishing. I take my boat out a lot. Let's say the convenience is unparalleled. This is nice. I'm spoiled here. This is great. So this is my 3 favorite sounds in the world. This is this right here. There, all the engines are running, so now we're good.
For Pumpsie Green, the view he enjoys daily is the same one he's enjoyed for more than 40 years.
That's the Bay Bridge, going to San Francisco. That's the Bay Bridge.
In fact, he and his wife started enjoying this view in El Cerrito, California, before they even finished building their home on the land in 1974.
It was exciting to see a house go up, and we come by sometime, and my wife, we come up here at night and just to look out over there, we just like the view and everything, and hey, this is all right.
Born in Oklahoma in 1933, Elijah Green's mother began calling him Pumpsie as a youngster. By the time his family moved to the Bay Area when he was 9, the nickname had stuck.
I never answered to Elijah because that wasn't my name. My name is Pumpsie, and that's it, and I like it.
Pumpsie was playing minor league ball in nearby Stockton when the Red Sox purchased his contract in 1955.
So we finished the season here in Class E ball in Stockton. I had a hell of a year. I was the most valuable player in the league. I hit over 300. I hit 13, 14 home runs. I stole a lot. I did a little bit of everything.
Earl Wilson, who later threw a no-hitter for the Red Sox, was another African-American player in the Red Sox organization at the time.
Me and Earl, my roommate, you know, protect each other, and we're together all the time. Sometimes it was difficult, sometimes it was hard, sometimes it was impossible. We said to ourselves, Ernie Banks, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, all those guys did it. We can do it.
When Pumpsie was summoned to the majors in 1959, Ted Williams and the rest of the team was in Chicago.
Big number 9, my friend, he welcomed me, to the Red Sox.
A familiar face from back home then greeted Pumpsie the first time he walked onto the field.
One of the players looked up and said, "Hey, El Cerrito." I said, "Oh, Big Jim Landis." We played against each other when he was at Richmond High. I was at El Cerrito. And I said, "I'll be doggone." Then he introduced me to Aparicio, who we was talking to. And that's the guy, I admired because he was one of the best I've ever seen.
But the moment Pumpsie recalls most was his first game at Fenway. It was the first time an African-American player wore a Red Sox uniform for a game at Fenway Park.
I'll never forget it because it was more pressure on me that night than I don't know what. I couldn't relax. I was nervous. I was some of everything because, number one, they're so loud, and that's what made me nervous now. These people, and there's no doubt about it, I know, because if I didn't know, they'd tell me. These people come to see you. You've been all over the papers. They come to see you. Whew. I didn't want to disappoint.
Pumpsie batted leadoff for the Red Sox that day.
As I was approaching home plate, I got a standing ovation. I stepped in the batter's box and I said, "I don't want to strike out. I want to hit the ball anywhere. I don't want to strike out." And then have to walk all the way back to the dugout. I said, "First thing you see, look good, and you swing. First pitch, strike." I said, "Oh, well." Now, second pitch, he threw me a slider down in the end. I hit it and hit it off the green monster in left center field. And the crowd went crazy.
Pumpsie played 344 games for the Red Sox over the course of 4 seasons, but never settled into a long big league career in Boston.
After my first at bat, I sort of settled down a little bit. But I never did get comfortable. Never. The time I was there, I was never comfortable. Because to me, it was almost like opening night every game. That's the way it was to me.
Pumpsie's major league career took him to the Mets for 1 more season before he retired back to Northern California. He coached baseball at Berkeley High School, and he began enjoying the view he still enjoys in the hills of El Cerrito. But he doesn't often reflect on the fact he was the first African-American player in Red Sox history.
I never given it any thought, really. It was brand new to me, too. And I wasn't thinking about history or afterwards or what it meant or all that. I was thinking about getting to first base or second base with a base hit. That's what I was thinking about. I play ball. That's what I do. I do that the best I can.
Pumpsie Green remains a humble man, but what he did for the Red Sox in 1959 was historic.